Hi everybody, this is the second card for our November card class, and I did forget to mention that the dimensions for the strips on the last class, that was 3 inches by 1 inch. So you need 4 3-inch by 1 inch strips, and you can do them in any orientation. And I also forgot to show, here's one with the Peaceful Place designer paper, so in a gray and silver kind of color scheme, so that one's really pretty too. So set that aside, and now we're doing our technique card. This is a vintage technique that is really easy. And first I dry embossed a piece of crumb cake cardstock with the Merry Melody designer folder, and that's a 3D folder, so it really gives a really deep image. And I always use soft suede when I'm making a vintage card, because it just seems to be the right shade of brown for the vintage look. And so I've got my soft suede ink pad here, and you can use a sponge dauber as well, but I'm using the new blending brushes, and I'm just picking up some ink here. And the secret to the blending brush is to always start off of your paper and then pull it on, because see, you can see when you start, you get that little blob there, and that by doing it that way, you don't get that blob onto your paper. So starting off and then just pulling the color in all around the edges. And you can just keep adding more and more color, just keep going around and adding more until you get the effect that you want. And it's basically just it's mainly putting the color onto the raised part of the image, and that way you get that nice distinction between the raised part and the background. So, and another thing you can do is take your brush or your dauber and just go along the edges like this as well, and that adds some more color to the edges and the corners. And another thing you can do is kind of crumple the corners a little bit. So I crumpled up the 2 of the corners just so it looks like you can even rip it a little if you want, so it looks like an old piece of sheet music. And this Merry Melody sheet music also has the exact has the notes for Joy to the World, I believe. So if you want to sit out there and try to play it, it's Joy to the World, which is kind of fun. So we'll get our soft suede card ready here to go, and then this will be the next layer, and then we're going to stamp our greeting. And again, I'm using this Christmas to Remember stamp set, and this time I'm using the dies that go with that painted Christmas bundle, because it matches nicely with that Love and Joy stamp. And so we'll just go ahead and stamp that. And I kind of crumpled mine a little bit just to go along with the aged look of things, and just kind of folded it, and just to give it a little worn look. And you can also take your blending brush or your sponge dauber and add a little more color along the edges like that. Okay, there's that piece, and I guess we're ready to put it together. So I did stamp Merry Christmas on the inside. Yeah, here's my Merry Christmas. Might as well get that done first and have all the stamping out of the way. So Merry Christmas on the inside. And now my pieces are ready to put together. I do like using the liquid glue when I'm gluing things that are folders. I think it just is easier to stick without ripping the paper when you use the liquid glue. Okay, we got that on. Oh, and I actually did it the right direction. I have the clefs, the signs, G clef, bass clef, whatever they are, in the right position, so the music is right side up. All right, so then I'm going to put my sentiment on with dimensionals, of course, because I always use dimensionals. Okay, there we go. And then for my embellishments, I'm using the gold holly leaves. Let's see, here's one that's open already. These are really cool. They're thinner than you would think. They're almost like fabric, kind of like a metallic fabric. So they're really nice for cards. So I'm going to get a small one and a big one. And we'll just glue those on with the liquid glue. And those are in the mini catalog, as is the stamp set and the folder. Those are all in the mini catalog. But the red rhinestones I'm using for my holly leaves are in the annual catalog. So grab my, take your pick tool here and grab a couple of these. I don't know, do you think I should just put one, or would it look pretty with three? Let's try three and see how that looks. Just to see. And my leaves are, with the liquid glue, still, I still can move those around a little bit because the glue hasn't dried yet, so I can get those exactly where I want them. Let's tilt those a little bit more. Does that look good? Okay, there we go. So there's our vintage card, and again with the Christmas to Remember stamp set, and we'll get this one put away and get ready for the last card, which will be our fun fold card for this month. See you in a little bit.